The Charlotte Hornets have traded Terry Rozier for Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat. And they've also acquired a 2027 first round pick from the Miami Heat. I don't know if that's lottery protected. That would be interesting to know. So, what do I think about this trade? Well, Terry Rozier has always been a very solid player to me. Just he's never going to be a star, but he's a very good player to have on a championship team if he's like your fourth option. Just he's very good in that type of role. So it was a good pickup by the Miami Heat for sure. Just there was probably no long-term future plans for him to be in Charlotte. And you look at that situation with them having LaMelo Ball as their primary point guard, and he's also really a point guard. If you look at him from a size perspective, he's only 6'1", so I didn't think that had potential to work out long term anyways. Now, obviously, the Hornets picked up Kyle Lowry, and he's also not in their long-term plans, but I think his contract is expiring. That's why they picked him up. And you look at Kyle Lowry's numbers this year, you can tell this guy is pretty much washed up. He's getting 8.2 points per game, 42% overall from the field, 38% from three. But you could tell this guy is almost there to being expired. This is probably his worst numbers of his career since his early years in the league, his first 2 years. So that's a sign that this guy is on the rapid decline. But I don't think the Hornets really cared about that. They just probably were trying to unload Rozier's contract. I don't know how many years left Rozier has. And maybe they thought his veteran locker room presence could help their young team. I guess maybe that's their thinking. But it doesn't really do anything to make the Hornets worse or improve them. They were already terrible with or without Terry Rozier. You can attribute mostly their bad record to injuries this year, but even if they were healthy, I think at best this team would be competing for the play-in or the 8th seed. So that's what I feel about them. And when you look at Miami, this is obviously a win now type of move. And it could pay off because Miami has always been a weird team the last 4 or 5 years in the playoffs. They tend to do well as a low seed. They've been known for getting upsets in the earlier rounds of the playoffs. So maybe they can go on another fluky run like they did in 2020 and last year. It's possible if their role players get hot, Jimmy Butler gets hot, this team is always capable of getting all the way to the finals. So I think last year told us that you can't count them out. There's always that possibility of a fluky run if the role players are playing at a ridiculously high level. With that being said, I don't ever see this team winning a championship, but they could be a spoiler like they were last year and in 2020 and get to the finals and then get destroyed. So that's the way I look at it. And so I don't think any team really particularly got better, but both organizations are in a different spot. Miami's winning for now, and the Hornets are looking towards the future.